What's up, Blue Tube? It's your boy, the Blu-ray Bandit, back once again with another Blu-ray haul. I'm gonna give it a second here for some people to load in. But yeah, just doing a live stream here on a Monday night. Haven't been live for quite a while. It's been at least a year, if not 2 years, maybe longer. I don't know. I don't do live streams all that often, only when it feels like I need to. Although every time I do it, I love it. So I don't know why I don't do it, but I don't. All right. We got a couple people in here, so I'll go ahead and get started. How's it going, John? Nice to see you. Just doing a little live. Feel free to ask me anything in the chat. If I see it, I will try to respond to it. What you're looking at right now is 2/3 of a massive boutique Blu-ray haul that I purchased. It's all boutique titles, no mainstream titles, and it cost me a pretty penny, but I think it's going to pay off in the end. And if you've watched my videos, you know I typically do like a fully produced, fast-paced, like as slick as I can get, what is in theory just showing off Blu-ray titles to make it entertaining for people. And with this haul, there is far too many for me to even attempt that. And so I figured I'd just go live. We're gonna kind of gloss over what we have here and kind of stop when it's a title that I at least know of, because there are a ton of titles right here that I've never even heard of. So yeah, so you've got these over here. There was 3 auctions total. You've got one auction that consists of all of these titles and these titles. That was the biggest auction. I'll give you numbers too. I've figured out exactly all the numbers on all of these, so I'll give you those as well. Then this was another auction, all these titles right here. And then we also have all of these titles. These are all Criterion. These are Kino Lorber and Warner Brothers Archive and a bunch of other kind of small boutique Blu-ray labels. And then over here, all of these are Region B boutique labels. So they're not even North American boutique Blu-ray labels. They're from the UK, from Europe, etc. So I don't have a Region B player. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do as far as that goes, whether I should get a Region B Blu-ray player or whether I should try to hack my current 4K player. I'm still doing research on it. There's a couple of these I want to keep, but as it stands right now, I can't even play them unless they're in 4K, which a couple of them are, but really only one that I want to keep is in 4K. So, but there's definitely some Blu-ray titles and some box sets in here that I would keep if I could find a way to play Region B Blu-rays. I don't need to know how to play them. I already know how to play them. I just don't have a player. And I'm not really looking forward to having 2 players. So I need to find a solution where it's a 4K player that also plays Region B and Region A. One player to rule them all is what I'm looking for. So if anybody has a recommendation for that, I'd appreciate it. There's definitely more people in here right now, so I'm just going to repeat. We're going to go over a large eBay Blu-ray haul that I purchased, a very large, nearly $5,000, over 700 titles, and they are all boutique Blu-rays, no mainstream titles. I mean, there's a few mainstream titles in the Arrow titles and things like that, but they're not from mainstream Blu-ray release labels. So yeah, so we've got one auction there, one auction in these 3 columns, and then these are all Criterions. We're probably not going to go title by title, but I will definitely pass over them with the camera multiple times, point out ones that I find notable, show you how I've organized them, and give you guys the hard numbers of what I paid for them and what I expect to do with them. So this is clearly not my Blu-ray room. This is my living room. And that is my current Criterion collection right there. This is my collection of film books. And I'm currently remodeling. And so don't judge me for this room. It's a work in progress, certainly. And for right now, I don't even know where I'm going to put these because my Blu-ray room is mostly full. I'm sure some of you can empathize, sympathize, whatever. Okay, so let's get into it. This was 3 separate auctions, like I mentioned, about 2 weeks ago on eBay. Same seller with like maybe 2 or 3 minutes difference in the ending time of each auction. And so in advance, I noted every title. I figured out how many was in each auction, title by title, just by looking at the photos. And then I made a calculation as far as what the maximum that I would pay for those titles would be. And I noted that, and I waited until seconds before each auction ended, and then I made my bid, and luck of all luck, I won all 3, which ended up in a nearly $5,000 purchase of Boutique Blu-rays. Now, I don't plan on keeping all of these. Certainly, I'm not keeping all of them because I don't have $5,000 to just throw around on Blu-rays. In fact, if you've been following my channel long enough, you know that I don't like spending any money on Blu-rays. I like collecting Blu-rays, but in the end, my goal is to buy more Blu-rays than I actually want to keep and then resell the ones that I don't want and then use the proceeds from flipping those Blu-rays that I don't want to pay for the titles that I want to keep. And so essentially, I have a pretty large Blu-ray collection at this point that in the end, I have paid $0 for. No money, absolutely free. Lots of sweat equity and elbow grease in listing and shipping Blu-rays. So there's a payment there, but as far as dollars and cents, I have not spent a single dime on my current Blu-ray collection, not counting these. Certainly these I'm at a loss for right now because I haven't sold a single one of them. But eventually, the titles that I keep out of these 3, I will pay for out of reselling the titles that I don't plan on keeping. That's my strategy when collecting Blu-rays, is ultimately to not only not spend any money in the end, but hopefully make a little money so that I can buy some new titles when they go on sale on Amazon or, whatever. Just buy titles with any extra money that I get from flipping Blu-rays. So it's not a terribly unique strategy, but I don't see too many channels on YouTube that focus specifically on that. There's lots of channels for collectors that want to talk about Blu-rays and glaze them up and have fun, and there's nothing wrong with that. But my niche is buying Blu-rays, keeping the ones you want, selling the ones you don't, and building a large collection as fast as you can for as little money as possible. Hopefully free. That's my goal. So let's jump into it. Why don't we start at the criterions? So this set of criterions consists of 218 titles. 48 of those titles is sealed. For this auction, I spent $1,614.94. That's like with tax and shipping to my front door. That brings it to a per title average of $7.40 each. So all of these titles, each one that you're looking at, I paid $7.40 each on average. And so if you think about going to Barnes & Noble, the 50% off sale, you might be able to get a brand new Criterion Blu-ray for $20, I think, when they do their 50% off sale. I'm paying $7.40 each. Now, do I get to pick and choose every title? No. I buy them in bulk, I sell the ones I don't want, and I keep the ones I do. It basically means that I have a ton of them, and I didn't pay much for them. Nothing in the end. But yeah, didn't pay much for them. But also, if I just want one specific title, unless I want to pay a retail price on eBay or at a Barnes& and Noble, I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to move on and just keep collecting, trying to build up the bulk. Every now and then, I really want something, I'll just go get it with any of the profits I have from flipping Blu-rays. But for the most part, I'm just trying to build it up as fast. In fact, I have a personal challenge to buy and collect every Criterion spine number, every single one, whether I want it or not. I'm not going to stop until I have every single one. And hopefully, I'll have paid nothing for it in the end from a money perspective. From a time investment, sweat equity perspective, I will have put in a lot. But from a dollars and cents, my goal is to pay nothing. Before we jump into it, I thought this was a good example of this strategy really paying off. So this set, which I've never really even seen before, I didn't know it existed until I saw this auction. This is the world of Wong Kar-wai. Wong Kar-wai being the director of Chungking Express and In the Mood for Love and 2046. These are titles that are fairly mainstream. There's also a bunch of titles that I'm pretty sure don't have individual Criterion releases in here. There's As Tears Go By, Being of the Wild, Fallen Angels, and Happy Together as well. Chungking Express itself, I believe, is out of print as a single title in the Criterion collection and is very expensive. I have a single title copy version of it as well, but now I have it in the set. This set, brand new, which is how it came, still sealed, $150 on eBay. There's 7 titles in here. I paid $7.40 each for each title. That means I paid for this box, brand new, $51.80. That's a third of what it cost brand new. Now, if I wanted to resell this, I would make a decent little profit on this. And you basically multiply that concept across all of these. All of these sell for at least $12 or more individually on eBay. That's the minimum. Some of them sell, most of them probably will go $15 to $18 on eBay. The in-print ones, there's a couple out-of-print ones here that are worth quite a bit more. Some of the box sets are worth quite a bit more. But for the most part, any of these that I sell will double my money on some level. Even better if they're brand new. So let's get into some titles. We've got Ace in the Hole, Mishima, Blow Up, It's a Mad, Mad World, The Freshman, Sweet Smell of Success, Sallow, an interesting one. Never seen it, a little scared of the movie. Pierre Etiax, Jules and Jim, Amarcord, All About Eve. This is still sealed. Elephant Man is still sealed. Then you got Red River, Lone Wolf Club. I've heard this is an anime, which I didn't know that that the Criterion Collection did anime. I don't know. Trilogy of Life, Bruce Lee's Greatest Hits. Then you got Martin Scorsese's World Cinema Project. There's 6 titles in here, 6 titles in here, and 6 titles in this sealed copy. Then from here down this row, these are all brand new and sealed. So, and also, I'm keeping all of these and all of these and all of these, as well as a couple over there, but I'll show them to you when we get there. So we got The Great Escape, Fugitive Kind House, Laclise, The Asphalt Jungle, Make Way for Tomorrow, Mickey and Nicky, The Palm Beach Story, Toriema, Flowers of Shanghai, Panic, whatever, Now Voyager, La Humanité, Beau, not going to pronounce that. My Man Godfrey, Love Streams, The Kid Brother, Chronicle of Summer, A Matter of Life and Death, Lord of the Flies. Love that movie. Super excited to add that to the collection. The Breaking Point, The Spy Who Came In from the Cold, The Organizer, Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence. Is this the only Christmas title in the Criterion Collection? I have no clue. Let me know. Mandabi, History is Made at Night, The Celebration, Moonrise, The Emigrants, and The New Land. Speedy, Cloud Caped Star, Notorious, Man Pushcart, Clooney Brown, The Hero, and Fists in the Pocket. So again, this whole row, brand new and sealed titles that I plan on keeping for now. Hopefully someday I'll find a used version before I want to watch one of these, and I'll just swap it out and sell the brand new version. Then we've got Paris Belongs to Us, Cajamusha, Tree of Wooden Clogs, Close Up, Here's Your Life, People on Sunday, The Blob, Macbeth, Clute, If, Metwan, Being There, Naked, Heaven Can Wait, Diamonds of the Night, Rosemary's Baby, pretty sure that's out of print, Lady Eve, Boyhood, Largent, Manila in the Claws of Night, Valerie and Her Week of Wonders, Quaden, The Lodger, The Man Who Knew Too Much, Kess, Rebecca, Foreign Correspondent, one that I really need to watch. That's come recommended multiple times. A Bright Summer Day, My Darling Clementine, The Double Life of Veronique, Letter Never Sent, The Ascent, La Amiche, Red Desert, Identification of a Woman, The Naked Island, Bigger Than Life, Yee, State of Siege, Designed for Living, and I Knew Her Well. One more column. Again, all these are used, but I'm keeping them. This starts a row of titles that I'm selling. These are all doubles. I already have these in my collection, and so I will be reselling these. Hopefully, the proceeds of these will help pay for all of these. That's the goal. So you've got the complete Jacques Tati, America Lost and Found, which has about 6 titles from like the late 60s, early 70s, American cinema. Then you've got David Lean, directs Noel Coward. I think there's 4 in there. Videodrome, Dazed and Confused, Bob Dylan, Don't Look Back, Detour, Two Lane Blacktop. These are brand new. They Live by Night, brand new, and Actor's Revenge, brand new. Then we're getting to used again. Blowout, 8.5, Following, Punch Drunk Love, All That Jazz, Tie Me Up, Black Narcissus, 39 Steps, Heaven's Gate, Lahane, Narayama, The Red Shoes, The Night of the Hunter, great movie, love that. A Night to Remember, I think which is I think about the Titanic. That one's been on my watch list for forever as well. Paris, Texas, Kiss Me Deadly, Gomorrah, The Naked Kiss, Dreams, Days of Heaven, Sullivan's Travels, Brazil, Hidden Fortress, and Thin Red Line. Again, all of these titles I already own. I'm going to resell them. These two I don't have. This is the Agnes Varda box set. This is every movie she ever made, short films and extended films. I don't remember how many are in here, but it's a decent amount. You can see just how thick that thing is. And then this is Zatoichi, I think is how you pronounce this. This is like a sequence of films and maybe some TV episodes. I don't know much about this, but it has a spine number, 679, and thus I must keep it. Maybe someday I'll dip into it. And over here, these are titles that I haven't decided what I'm going to do with yet. These are DVDs, and I'm the Blu-ray Bandit. I'm not the DVD Bandit, and so I'm not really interested in keeping DVDs. But if I'm going to own every Criterion spine number, there are a handful of titles that never made it to Blu-ray, that haven't made it to Blu-ray, and maybe won't make it to Blu-ray because they haven't done it yet. So I'm debating whether to keep these because there's at least a few of them that are out of print just amongst these. We've got the Rebel Samurai box set on DVD with 4 titles in it. Letters from Fontenhaus, which is 3 movies in that set. No idea what that is. I know what Akira Kurosawa's Stray Dog is. Haven't seen it yet, but told it's good. Mafiosa, Dillinger is Dead. Big Deal on Madonna Street, Viridiana, and The Bad Sleep Well is another Akira Kurosawa title on DVD, and I don't think there's a Blu-ray for it. So might be the only way you can own those on the Criterion Collection anyway. So this is auction 1, right? Auction 1. We're going to go over 3 auctions, same seller. I bought all 3, all the Blu-rays he was selling. I bought 3 auctions within minutes of each other. I got the highest bid on. In this auction, once again, 218 titles, 48 of them sealed. I paid $1,614.94. Brings us out to a per title average $7.40 each. Let's go over to this over here. This is auction number 2. These are all Region B Blu-rays. And I don't have a Region B player, like I mentioned earlier. And so I don't know how many of these I'm going to keep. I haven't even separated them that way because I just haven't decided whether I'm going to go through the bother of getting a Region B Blu-ray player. But there are a bunch of great movies and great box sets in here that I'm very tempted in figuring out how to make that work, despite the fact that I don't want another Blu-ray player. I'd rather just have my 4K player and have it play everything, but I don't necessarily know how to do that. And if anybody has a suggestion for a good 4K player that has Dolby Vision and everything like that, that also has Region A and Region B, that's not going to kill me on price, let me know. I'm very interested. But okay, let's get into these. This was auction 2. Auction 2 had 404 titles inside of it. 115 of those titles were sealed. I spent $2,519.13 on this auction, which brings us out to a per title average of $6.24 each. Now, if you buy boutique Blu-rays, you know, even used on these labels, that is an insane price on a per title average. So really excited about this. The bad news is most of this is going to go. Most of it's going to go because right now my priority is completing the Criterion collection. And so some of these I'm going to keep just because I can't give them up, but the bulk of them are going to help pay for quite a bit of those and some of the few that I'm going to keep in here, but we're going to go over them anyway. Let's start with the Arrow titles. We'll go on this end. So we've got Mellow, Tout Va Bien, The Mad Fox, Hiroshima, Viva l'Italia, The Yellow of the Moon, Orchestra Rehearsal, Brute Force, Salvatore, something or other, Cinema Paradiso, La Plaisir, Bloody Spear at Mount Fuji, Network, Fireman's Ball, Property is No Longer a Theft, The Major and the Minor, Thieves Highway, The Naked City, Legend of the Holy Drinker, Le Grand Buffet, Hotel du Nord, La Chinoise, Closely Watched Trains, The Poetic Trilogy, The Manchurian Candidate, that's one I want to keep for sure. I love that movie. JSA, Cemetery Without Crosses, Day of the Jackal, Kioma, Hakusia, a bunch of war movies, Fugitive from the Past, Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia, another one I'd like to keep. The Grand Duel, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, another one I'd like to keep. Cops and Thugs, Vigil, The Possessed, Day of Anger, The Key, Frivolous Lola, All Ladies Do It, Cheeky, whatever that, however you pronounce that, The Sleep, So As to Dream, To Sleep As to Dream, Black Test Car, Street Mobster, and Milano Calibro. So those are the individual Arrow titles for the most part, but there are definitely some Arrow boxes in here. Let's take a look. Some box sets. Some of them are individual titles, some of them are not. You've got the Kinji Fukasaku set that has all these movies in it. You've got the Solid Metal Nightmares, the films of Tsukamoto. A bunch of movies in there as well. You've got the early works of somebody or other. I don't recognize any of those movies. I'm going to be honest with you. This one probably going away. Then you've got classic Italian crime thrillers with Savage 3, Like Rabid Dogs, Colt 38, Highway Pacer, and No. This box I'd like to keep. This is Alejandro Jodorowsky collection with the Holy Mountain and El Topo. Those are the two I've heard of. The other two I've not heard of, but I'm interested in checking out. Here you've got a Battle Part 2 and a bunch of other stuff in it that's related to Battle Royale. Huge box set for like what is essentially 2 movies. But then you've got Battles Without Honor, a couple movies related to battles, I guess. Graveyard Honor, RoboCop, The Thing. Certainly you guys have heard of those. Cinema of Conflict, 4 films. Don't know anything about that. Certainly have heard of Vincent Price, but I don't think I've ever seen any of those. And you got Dario Argento's The Bird with the Crystal Plumage. You got 2 box sets from some gentlemen that I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce their names. Tons of movies in those that I had never heard of. Then you've got the Old Boy set with Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance and Lady Vengeance. That's the trilogy. And then you've got the complete collection of the female prisoner Scorpion. Again, don't know anything about that. Don't know anything about either of these two, but Il Gatto and the one above it in green, those are 4Ks. So I could keep those if I wanted to. They would just play in my 4K player since 4Ks are, in theory, region free. That Donnie Darko, also in 4K, I will definitely be keeping that. And then on top, you've got the Taisho trilogy. So 3 movies in there. A bunch of these are sealed. A bunch of the Arrow videos that we went over are sealed as well. Next row is Studio Canal. I'm not going to try to read these foreign titles because I like you guys enough to not do that to you. And so I'm just going to try to show you what's here. And hopefully you guys will see something you like. You've got The Wicker Man, certainly heard of that. The Lady Killers, heard of that. Last Year in Marienbad, that comes recommended to me, though I have not seen it. There's another version of The Elephant Man. There was a Criterion for that. Cross of Iron I've heard of. Certainly I've heard of Ran, but I have not seen it. These are all Studio Canal titles. And there's some Studio Canal box sets as well. You've got Melville, The Essential Collection, Buñuel, Godard, Jean Gabin, The Servant, and above that, the Francois Truffaut collection. All right, below here, you've got titles from Second Run. This is a trilogy of Hungarian films, and these are all foreign films with titles I'm not going to try to read. These are all Blu-rays, and these are DVDs. Don't plan on really keeping any of these. Some of the Arrow titles, certainly some of the Arrow boxes, I'm going to keep. But the bulk of everything we've talked about, as far as this auction, is probably going to go up for resale to help pay for titles that I plan on keeping. Okay, next column we've got Eureka. Straight Shooting Old Dark Horse Cure comes highly recommended to me. Double Indemnity, Lifeboat, highly recommended to me. Lifeboat, a Hitchcock movie. Michael, Wild River, A Foreign Affair. Punishment Park, Marty, Drunken Master, Gate of Hell, Touch of Evil, Fedora, Serpico, I'd like to keep for sure. That's a great movie. Les Miserables, the original, interested in that. The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, have never seen, but probably should have by now. Then you've got Witness for the Prosecution and Shane, which is a classic Western. Down here, you've got kind of these Eureka box sets like The African Queen and High Noon, classic Western as well. That's it for the Eureka titles. Now we have BFI titles. Not many of these did I know of for sure. I don't really know any of these on camera right now, so I'm just gonna once over them for you guys. Tokyo Story I've certainly heard of. Late Spring I've heard of. There's another copy of Tokyo Story in a double disc right there. And here's a box set from BFI that are all British films, I believe. And that one's brand new and sealed. The Takeshi Kitano collection looked interesting. You've got Violent Cop Boiling Point I had heard of, but not Sonatine. Hadn't heard of that. But this one I would love to keep. This is the Werner Herzog collection. 18 films in this box set. Unfortunately, region B. So I don't know. I got to figure that out, right? Because I can't pass that up. I got to add 18 Werner Herzog films in my collection that I'll probably never watch 16 of them. Gotta have it, right? Gotta have it. Then we've got, these are like just a couple random smaller labels. Up here, this, I don't even know what label this is, but World of Wire, The Color of Pomegranates. Then from Indicator, you've got Scum and Irreversible. More Indicator, Lady of Shanghai, Night of the Demon, The Last Detail, The Front, The Deadly Affair, The Anderson Tapes, Blue Collar. Bunch of Italian movies for sure. Then from Third Window Films, you've got Love Exposure, Scene at the Sea, Peeping Tom, and then here is another box set from Art House, Jim Jarmusch, The Complete Collection. Look how many Jim Jarmusch films are in here. I would love to keep this box. Too bad it's region B. Got to figure that out. All right, let's go back up here to one row of box sets we haven't talked about. This is another one that I would love to keep. This is a Bong Joon-ho set with, I think this is all of his movies, Barking Dogs, Never Bite, Memories of Murder, The Host, Mother, Snowpiercer, and Parasite, and the Parasite Black and White edition. And I already have the 4K of Parasite, so I don't really care about that. But this set is pretty awesome. I love the graphic design of it. Again, region B, so I'll have to figure out where I land on that. Here is another random DVD for some reason. Going to be reselling that. Then from Artificial Eye is the label for those. They're upside down, so they're hard to read, but they're there. Then you've got two more collections from some filmmakers I've never heard of that are both sealed, and I will be reselling. All right, so that was auction 2. You got auction 1, all Criterion collection. Auction 2, all Region B boutique Blu-rays. And then there was a third auction. This is the third and final auction we're going to talk about tonight. This auction had 98 titles in it. 37 of those titles are sealed. I paid $769.40 for this auction. That brings them out to $7.85 each, which is the most, as far as a per title average goes, of any of these 3 auctions. So not by much though, about $1 and a few cents. So let's go over these and then we'll wrap it up here. Most of these are Kino Lorber and Warner Brothers Archive, and there's a couple randoms from other places, but you've got Three Bad Men, The Big Country, The Oxbow Incident, The Specialist, Angel, The Good Fairy, Hell in the Pacific, Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum, Death Rides a Horse, Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. I will be keeping that. The Laughing Policeman, The Landlord, After the Fox, The Children's Hour, Elmer Gantry, The Eagle and the Hawk, Stanley Kubrick's Fear and Desire, keeping that. Orson Welles' The Stranger, keeping that. David Holzman's Diary, never heard of that. And I've never heard of Lena Wertmuller. But evidently, there's the collection of whoever that is. He or she, no idea. Then from Cohen Media, A Married Woman, The Beautiful Troublemaker. You got a trilogy here: Padre, Night of the Shooting Stars, Chaos, The Damned, Peppermint Soda, The Two of Us, Joan the Maid, which I think is the sequel to Joan of the Arc. And I'm not joking. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Daughter of the Nile, The Shakedown, Mephisto, Port of Freedom, The Love of Jeannie Nay, Salam Bombay, The Iceman Cometh, Hyenas, Rhinoceros, Reefer Madness, and Sex Madness. This is a 2-film set. Confidence, the complete films of Joaquin Pedro something or other. Then you got Pawnette, Black Gravel, My 20th Century. This is what? Running Wild, The Informer, Gueros, can't read that, Black Sunday, and Seven Beauties. Final row: Men in War, Letter from an Unknown Woman, Indiscreet, Miracle Worker, The Brain, I've Always Loved You, Greed in the Sun, The Pawnbroker, a 4-film Alfred Hitchcock collection from Warner Brothers Archive, Angel with Dirty Faces, In the Good Old Summertime, She Wore a Yellow Ribbon, Libeled Lady, Waterloo Bridge, The Letter, Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, The Clock, For Me and My Gal, Mortal Storm, A Night at the Opera, Bad Day at Black Rock, Straight Time, Dodsworth, Days of Wine and Roses, Running on Empty, Meet Me in St. Louis, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Scarecrow, Papillon, definitely keeping that. It's an awesome movie. 7 Days in May, The Thin Man, Mutiny on the Bounty, keeping that, and Wagon Master, which is a classic Western from my memory. Okay, so again, 1, 2, 3 auctions from the same seller, tons of titles. I'm going to resell a good portion of them to keep the titles that you see here that I plan on keeping. I'll probably make money. Like, I paid roughly $5,000 for all 3 auctions combined, this and those 2 auctions. And I estimate selling them individually, I could make about $15,000. I'll probably keep a good $5,000 back for myself as far as like titles that I don't sell. But I'm pretty sure that in the end, I will be able to keep all the titles that I want to keep, roughly, and still net somewhere between $4,000 and $5,000 by selling them individually. Why do I tell you that? I'm not bragging. I'm just letting you guys know there's a way to do this where you can buy titles, buy them in bulk, Get that per title average down as low as you can. As long as you're up to doing the sweat equity of like listing titles, like what you're seeing right here, I make it sound easy, and it is. The math is easy. You just have to have a little bit of capital to put into it, right? A little bit of money to put up front that you don't necessarily have to rely on to pay your bills tomorrow. And then you have to be ready to list every single one of these titles online and sell them and package them and get them to the post office. The reason why people sell big collections in bulk all at once is because they don't want to do all that, right? And so there's a trade-off here, certainly. But if you want to quickly grow your Blu-ray collection, even with expensive boutique titles, there is a way to do that. You just buy in bulk, sell the ones you don't want to pay for the ones that you plan on keeping. If you do that, you do it smart, you'll probably end up making money, and then you just get to buy more titles guilt-free. That's the way I've done it the last 3-4 years that I've been collecting Blu-rays. I have not paid, I'll repeat myself, I have not paid a dime in the end for my Blu-ray collection. Haven't paid a dime. I've paid them all. I paid for them all by buying and selling Blu-rays, flipping them, and then using the profits to grow my collection. It's a hobby for me. I don't think this would be a very good business. It's a lot of effort for not much profit. Depends on what kind of job you have, certainly. When you compare it to my hourly rate, not bragging, but I would never do this for a living. But for a hobby on my own free time because I enjoy it, certainly it's awesome. All right, so to recap, I bought 720 titles. 200 of them are sealed. I spent $4,903.51. If you average that out to a per title average in total with all 3 auctions together, I spent $6.81 per title on these 3 auctions. So yeah, I think that's it. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Is there anything in the chat that I need to answer? Does anybody have any questions before we get out of here? This is little Leo. He's a Chihuahua. He's awesome. He likes watching movies too. Actually, he doesn't really watch movies. He just sleeps while I watch movies. Anyway, yeah. Anybody last chance for some questions in the chat? And if nobody posts one, then I'm going to get out of here and enjoy the rest of my evening, as should you. Going once, going twice, gone. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you joining. I'll see you next time. Who knows when that will be? But until then, goodbye.